This is a film about a voice of Middle England we hardly ever hear.
What I love about Britain is the people.
A lot of people assume instantly that I am oppressed.
I really do respect the women that do cover their heads.
Ideally, you do it because you love God.
You really have to choose your battles.
I love Britain. I absolutely adore it.
Meet 4 women keen to show us they are thoroughly modern Muslims, and they'd like you to see Britain and Islam through their eyes. These professionals say they're dedicated followers of Islam. They're also passionate about Britain. Haleh is a firm feminist. She's Professor of Politics at the University of York, and she's had her fair share of battles in the public eye. In 2005, Haleh was awarded the OBE. In the heart of Birmingham, you'll find Asia, a cartoonist.
I love Britain. I absolutely adore it. One thing I can't live without is chocolate, and Britain is known for its brilliant chocolate.
What do you think this is?
In Cheshire, the land of footballers' wives, Fari aims to bring up her children as Muslims. She's a qualified GP and wife of a prospective parliamentary candidate.
We have a farm across the road from where we live, and we have horses in the field behind us. It's a beautiful place.
And finally, Maryam, a trainee solicitor who divides her time between university, the office and the town hall, where she is Manchester's youngest elected local councillor.
I've been born and brought up as a true Mancunian. Culturally, I'm from Pakistan. I think I'm lucky. I get the best of both worlds.
They're modern, British and proud of it. Creative cartoonist Asia pursues a devout life of purity.
I would say I'm running on Islam. This is my battery. It's everything. If you ask me what is Islam, I would say it is the process of you choosing peacefully to submit yourself to one God and try to live your life as best you can according to Islam.
1 second, honey.
Fari puts her faith down to a very particular moment in her past.
I was involved in a car accident with some friends, and at that moment when the car was turning around, it was as clear as day. It was clearer than day, you know, in my heart. I knew that there was a God.
And Maryam is just beginning a deeper journey of faith.
Obviously, I was born a Muslim, so I've been brought up with Islam in my life. I didn't always practice it too much, to be quite honest. It's only become more recent where I have begun to practice it, where I've become more interested in my religion.
They all live in Britain, but they were born in distinctly different countries. Haleh comes from Iran. When she arrived in England, she found a culture reluctant to accept Islam.
I went to boarding school, and everything that I was going to do was against the rules. You couldn't get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you couldn't miss any meals, you couldn't go and start praying. And it just became such a struggle.
Asia is 23. She was born in Libya. When she was 7, her family moved to Scotland.
I was the first person to wear the headscarf in primary school. It was an all-white school, so for someone who comes from a different country, it's, wow, somebody's different. To be wearing this, extra different.
You want to splash again?
Fari was born in Kenya, and she arrived in London with her family 23 years ago.
Splasher! Come on! It was a very sad time for us because we'd left everything we knew. We'd left our home, our friends, our toys. We couldn't bring everything with us, and my first impression of England was it was a very grey place.
Cancel their appointments and make them for the same time on Monday, because I'm in court tomorrow as well.
Maryam is a first-generation British Muslim.
I was born in Manchester. My mum and dad were both born in Pakistan. My mum came to the UK when she was 2, and my dad came to the UK when he was 11. A year ago, when I was 23, I went back into my religion. I read books, I read the Quran, I started to pray, so I now pray 5 times a day.
Each of our women knows what it takes to be a good Muslim.
For me, Islam is a way of life. Try and be a good person all the time. Try and do good by other people. Work hard. Be good to my family.
To be a Muslim, to be a believer, is to acknowledge God, and that's your base rock from which you start.
It is the process of you choosing peacefully to submit yourself to one God and try to live your life as best you can according to Islam.
It goes into everything that you do.
I tried to fight the feeling
The one drawback of Britain is the stereotypes they encounter.
you knocked me out. Now everything's got meaning.
A lot of people assume instantly, that's before I start speaking usually, that I am oppressed, that I do not have my life in my hands, I will not be confident, I am oppressed by the men, by religion, I do not get any rights, all that kind of stuff. And hopefully that I should be very grateful because suddenly I've come to the UK and that now I have a chance of being freed.
In actual fact, women are very liberated in Islam, and they can do up to a point what they want to do. So they can go and study, they can go out to work, they can have a family if they choose.
And the most irritating stereotype is that being a Muslim somehow links them to terrorism.
I think some people might not understand Muslims. I mean, if I didn't and I'd watched the news and read the papers, I'd be petrified if I knew a Muslim was, you know, across the street from me.
Terrorism is not something that is embedded in Islam.
What are you going to do tomorrow?
I think it's a bit of an oxymoron, actually, calling them Islamic terrorists.
Muslim terrorists are a very, very small minority.
The way they behave, the actions, their thoughts, their intentions are all so different from the religion.
Our religion does not say go and bomb up people, so that's where they're very, very wrong.
I think you just got to realise how good that is. I would like to see more of that. And this actual image is so beautiful. It almost feels like you go into the silhouette.
People do not understand Arabs. Arabs misunderstand Western people. So in a way, it's a case of how can I use my work to bridge gaps between these two societies. So you think that definitely keep all the things that culturally are different.
Yeah.
Muslims are not going to the media. They do not give themselves a voice. This is something we really need to pick up and start doing before it gets too late, I think.
Maryam decided to challenge stereotypes by standing in Manchester's local elections. When she won, she was the UK's youngest female Muslim councillor.
I got into politics because of my dad. He's a councillor, and he's been a councillor for about 6 years or so now. So I saw the good that he did. There was a Liberal Democrat seat that I was fighting for. I took it and I won with a 913 majority. There were a couple of people who thought, as a woman, I shouldn't be in a very male-dominated field such as politics, and maybe I should rethink my choice, and I should be married and I should be cooking. And I just thought, well, that's your opinion and you're entitled to it. But I had my family's backing, my father, my brother, my mother, everybody was happy. It made me feel even better that the 3 men's votes combined were still less than mine. So it was a satisfaction for a woman.
How do you like it when you've not even tasted it?
Fari's challenge is to remember the peace-loving God of Islam when her daughter won't eat her Brussels sprouts.
They all taste the same.
Okay, I'm just going to put that one back here. Okay. Alright, I'll put them over here then.
God has said, that you need to treat people justly, kindly, fairly, be friendly, smile. Being a Muslim, I hope, would affect the people around me.
Want to try some? I'll put a little bit on your plate. Good.
They make you grow tall and strong.
No, just keep her small.
No, Mum, I want her to grow up.
Small. Are you eating it all up?
Quick, before Mum takes it away. Ah, there you go,
Stop
Mum.
it now. Stop it. Stop it.
Stop it.
In an ideal world, your intention would be to please God and to do things, you know, to be kind and have patience.
Our 4 women all adhere, in varying degrees, to the heart of their faith, the 5 pillars of Islam.
Muslims are expected, first and foremost, to believe in God.
You pray 5 times a day.
They're expected to be charitable and give a percentage of their wealth.
You fast in the month of Ramadan.
They're expected to go to Hajj or to go to Mecca.
Belief, prayer, fasting, Hajj, charity.